Today I'm going to show you how to adjust and modify the trigger on the Gamo Urban. It comes with a really good trigger. It's nice and smooth, not a heavy trigger at all. But the second stage is really long, and a second stage shouldn't be long at all. Watch this. First stage takes up easily, but then I have to just push and push and push before the sears finally release. Now, the trigger is adjustable. This screw here is where you make the adjustments. If you screw it in, you reduce that sear engagement, making the trigger break quicker and crisper. By backing it out, you do the reverse. The problem is, from the factory, that screw is already screwed in as far as it will go. So you actually don't have any real adjustments as it comes. So we are going to switch out that screw and put in another one. And we'll see how that helps. First, we're going to get a baseline for the weight of the trigger. This adjustment doesn't make a big difference on the weight, but it will affect it a little bit. 1 pound, 14.2 ounces. One pound, 14.7 ounces. One pound, 14.4 ounces. So you can see it's a really consistent and good trigger that way, but we're going to adjust it a little bit here. So we're going to take out this screw. We can access it without taking off the stock. We're just going to screw that out all the way. And I'm going to replace it with a longer screw. So this is the factory screw, and this is the screw we're going to replace it with. You can see that there's a lot more distance, a lot more length here, a lot more distance that we can move that sear. Now, the screw that you want to get is a 2.5 by 8 or 10 millimeter length. 2.5 by 8 works fine. 10 millimeter, you're not going to use that whole length, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever you can find. And now we just put that in here. And this takes a 1.5 millimeter. So we'll have to screw that in. And we'll get it in here pretty well, and then we'll test the trigger and see where we're at. Let's try it at about right there. Okay, so the trigger engages at this point, so it's not on the face of it too far. So let's see. First stage. You can see right there the second stage is quite a bit shorter already. Let's go ahead and see how far we can go on this. Now, you have to be absolutely aware that you can make the gun extremely unsafe by over-adjusting the trigger. That's the reason why Gamo puts the screw in that they do, so that the gun just cannot be made unsafe. So by doing this, you take the responsibility on yourself. You just now have to, be responsible and not make your gun unsafe. So we're going to screw that in. The gun still engages. It's a good sign. And let's see how that... Yeah. So you can see how much better that is. First stage goes, and then we just put a bit more pressure and break through that wall, and off it goes. We can try and see how far we can go. At this point, we're going to make very small changes. I'm just going to move that about a quarter turn. It still engages, that's good. And it's even lighter. Let's try it a little bit farther here. We'll get to the point. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and get to that point so you can see what happens. We'll do a full turn there. And now you can see The sear wants to engage. You can hear it clicking, but it just won't hold. So we'll back off a quarter turn, and at this point, it'll engage. I know that it's, at least I assume it's going to be unsafe at this point. Pull the first stage up, and the second stage we've now got pretty close to a hair trigger. Let's give you the weight on that. Yeah, 10.2 ounces. Now you're thinking at this point, that is a great trigger. That's exactly where I want it to be. But let me show you the problem here. Whenever I do a trigger test, I always have a mallet handy. I always want to bang it. See how the gun goes off? That is an unsafe trigger. If I drop this gun, or it just may loosen up enough to where it'll go off by itself. So again, it just goes off far too easily. So I'm going to continue to back it out in quarter turn increments until I can no longer get it to go off. So 1/4 inch back. Still goes off. Let's do another 1/4 inch turn. Still goes off. It was harder that time. Another 1/4 inch turn. Or not, I keep saying 1/4 inch turn. I just mean a quarter turn. Now you want to hit it at different angles. And at this point, we're safe. So I'm going to turn it 1/8 of a turn in, just to see. No, we're still there. No, it won't go off. We'll pull the trigger and nope, I can't get it to go off. So that's about where I want the trigger. It's as light and as little sear engagement as I can get while still being safe. I mean, I don't have to worry about dropping this and having it fire. Let's see where we're at right now on the pull weight. So it is considerably lighter. It's 1 pound 5 ounces. We'll do that again. Yeah, 1.4 ounces, or 1 pound 4 ounces. You know, 1 pound 3.9 ounces. So again, a really consistent trigger. And now, I'll just show you I'll try and give you an idea of what it feels like. So again, take up the first stage. Just no movement at all, virtually. So that's how you adjust the Gamo trigger. That's how you can modify it to make it even better. Now, by doing this, you take the responsibility on yourself. We tell you that this can make your gun dangerous. Please just be smart about it. But at this point, you have a great gun with a really, really good trigger. I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.